Hey everyone, welcome to Frugal Prof Finance, and this is my list of the best countries to start a new life in 2020. And so I'm going to start with, for a great cost of living and for Southeast Asia, how about Vietnam? So Vietnam is a great place to live for remote work. If you've got an online business, the cost of living is low, the food is healthy, and there's plenty of coffee. And so apparently coffee itself was introduced to Vietnam all the way back in 1857, and it was a French Catholic priest that did it. And apparently now Vietnam is one of the largest producers of this Robusta variety of coffee. And it's the second largest producer of coffee worldwide, so you can definitely get your caffeine kick here. And there's various sort of regional adaptations, and one way is to have an iced coffee which with sweetened condensed milk, which is really nice in the hot and humid weather you can get in Vietnam. So why else Vietnam? It's relatively safe and secure for budget travel, has a diverse climate, depending on where you want to stay. It's got some very easy to visit and perhaps some of the nicest beaches in Southeast Asia. I'm sure there'll be some arguments on that one, right? But there are beaches, some great beaches such as Long Beach, which is famous for this long stretch of sandy beaches, and they're also enclosed in palm fringe coastline, very beautiful, though that beach is fairly touristy, so you might want to head down to Star Beach, which has beautiful white powdery sand and blue waters. Sounds enticing. What else is great about Vietnam? Well, motorbike culture is not overrun by cars, so if you're into motorbikes and stuff, that's the culture there. It's also great travel and cheap travel to the neighboring countries, and obviously with many sights to see, you can get to Thailand and Cambodia and much else of Southeast Asia. And also lighter visa requirements as well, which is always a bonus. Next up, well, I'm going to talk about the Americas. Mexico, right? Close to the US. If you live in the US, you can just drive, obviously, across the border. Low cost of living again, and that's including housing and excellent medical care as well. As I'm sure you're aware, a wonderful, rich, and vibrant culture. Cheap, delicious, and famous food. Quesadilla is a big favorite in our family, and burritos and flan as well. And not surprisingly, they're strong expat havens if you're feeling a little bit homesick. It's also a large country, but very easy to travel around and visit these wonderful beaches. Good weather for much of the country as well. And perhaps because of this great weather and good food, it has quite a laid-back and friendly culture. And I found in my travels around Mexico, very friendly people. Similar to Vietnam, you can get these cheap international flights. And so you can get to other parts in Central America. You can travel to Central America. So you've got Belize is a big favorite of mine. Costa Rica is another great country that's very close by. Or you may even travel further south to South America. So speaking of South America, my top choice, it's a tough one here, but I think I'm going to go for Peru. Again, it's the low cost of living and relatively cheap property if you want to rent or buy. What I miss, I live in the US now, but what I miss probably in many of the US cities is they're not so walkable. Again, that's not the case in Peru. Lots of very walkable cities, so easy to get around. You don't really need a car if you just want to stay local for a while. Like the others, again, can have a great climate, really amazing varied landscapes as well. So you've got beautiful beaches, and you can travel up to extreme heights, up into the Andes Mountains. And if you go over those, you're actually dropping into the Amazonian rainforest as well. So pretty spectacular in terms of landscape and terrain. Culture is really fascinating. And there's a very interesting mix of Hispanic and native traditions as the whole culture comes together. And again, friendly people, which is obviously a big bonus if you're traveling there for a while. And similar to Vietnam, relatively easy visa system as well. So I'm going to stay with North America right now, and as in Mexico previously. And so now I'm going to go back to North America. And Canada is actually another top one of my list. Reasons being, it's a safe place to live with exceptionally low crime rates. Maybe you're traveling with family, less of a backpacker, maybe something you want to stay in and be with your family there for a while. Great educational system along those lines. It's also renowned really as a multicultural society. Obviously, it's got those Anglo-French roots, but it's regarded as having a very broad-minded culture, very more broad-minded population. And it's actually been named as one of the best countries in the world for acceptance and tolerance of minorities. So a big bonus there. It's economically stable. And the difference to its huge neighbor to the south, Canada has universal healthcare. Similar to the US, It's also gigantic itself, actually. It's something like, I think it's the second largest country in the world, right? Much of that being frozen north, of course, but still vast, right? And with a population of just over 35 million. All right, compare that to the UK. The UK's population is about 66, is about half the population of the UK, approximately. However, the UK, or the Canada, landmass is 41 times bigger, right? So again, one of these vast countries with a low population. There's Arctic tundra to the north. If you're coming further south, beautiful forests and lakes, and with beautiful cities nearby. So you can travel from your town populace out into the wild very easily. If you don't like those cold winters, yes, much of North Canada is cold, but the trick maybe is to head west, go to the Vancouver area. The weather in that part, in the far west of Canada, is often much wilder. Milder, not wilder, what am I saying? So the USA is my next one. What do I like about the USA? A lot, all right? We hear negative press right now, but wow, I really love this can-do attitude, culture of positivity. Whenever I'm feeling down, I'll go and chat with one of my close American friends, and they will undoubtedly bring a whole bunch of positivity and go-get attitude in my life. And we've got the thumbs up there, so why not hit that thumbs up like button as well? What else is wonderful about the US? Great education, some of the best universities in the world, many of the best universities in the world. Great healthcare if you have insurance. Wonderful and many career opportunities. Very business-minded culture and very pro-entrepreneurship. Another big perk. Natural and amazingly beautiful national parks. First time into Yosemite, just took my breath away. Just unbelievable. Never seen anything like that coming from Europe. Lots of land, third largest country in the world. So again, very spacious. Even though the population is much larger, there's still plenty of room to breathe. With California, just California, the state of California on its own, already being, say, 1.7 times larger than the UK. So a big country. And living in the US for a while, what happens now? If I travel back to Europe, actually, I can feel a little bit claustrophobic at times. Too many people, too compact, right? So I like it when I get back to the US, you've got that space, that room to breathe. Another big perk I'd add for the US is the Hawaiian Islands are part of the US. Hard to top that. Hawaii. Moving to Europe, well, I'm going to go for Spain, okay? And you're seeing probably a pattern with my suggestions. It's good food. The Mediterranean diet is renowned for its health benefits. You hopefully live a long time eating that remarkably healthy Mediterranean diet. Again, cost of living can be relatively cheap as compared to the rest of Europe. Obviously, it's not going to be anything like the cheapness of living in Vietnam, but still relatively cheap compared to the rest of Europe, and certainly as compared to the US or the UK. And it has good healthcare as well. What I really appreciate about Spain is its family-friendly lifestyle. Including family get-togethers for lunch, dinner, and the such like, with large meals, and very enjoyable part of a normal life in Spanish culture. Again, the weather, it's very similar to Southern California, where I currently live, and so it's got great beaches, good weather, warm weather, lots of sunshine, and actually the Mediterranean Sea is right there if you're on the east part of Spain, and the waters are relatively calm there, so great for sort of swimming and so on. Really big bonus for being in Spain. Transport links around Europe are easy. You can get by car. You can just drive into France and the such like, or even by train, and again, plane as well. So you can get around the EU very easily, and Spain is part of the EU as well. I would say another one thing not to forget, the beautiful Canary Islands as well. They belong to Spain too, so another beautiful part of Spain. And as for the people, yeah, they are definitely great. But I have to say that because actually I married a Spanish girl. All right, so moving out from Europe, where else am I going to pick? I'm going to pick the Antipodes. I'm going to pick Australia. Australia is renowned for its amazing quality of life, living with very healthy living and great healthcare. It's got high wages and an economy that's particularly robust, been strong for decades. Like Canada, it's safe and multicultural. There's also that, what I really appreciate, that room to breathe, that space to breathe. Australia is 32 times larger than the UK, but the population is only 25 million. So 25 million in the 6th largest country of the world. Okay, the US is getting to the size. Australia is almost the size of the US. I think the US is something like 27% larger than Australia, but that's because you're including Alaska. All right, if you take out Alaska, they're going to be very close in terms of their size. But the US population is more than 10 times larger than that of Australia. Good weather if you're on the coast, right? The hot, dry interior, of course, which is famous for wonderful forms of life, incredible creatures that you never see in any other parts of the world as well. So for me, last but no means least, I'm going to pick New Zealand. It's another country which has a wonderful and very high quality of life. Again, great education and great healthcare. It's also safe and security-minded, friendly and multicultural. I appreciate that room to breathe. The population of 5 million can have great weather, amazing outdoors with mountains, forests, pristine beaches, and lots of great and fantastic clean air. In fact, it's probably the adventure capital of the world, but obviously if you're in Canada and such like, you may argue with that, right? But still amazing adventure travel around New Zealand. I think the big bonus for me about New Zealand is, unlike Australia, the wildlife in New Zealand isn't out to kill you, okay? So a big difference there. They also have in New Zealand an amazing, awesome rugby team. Sorry, Aussies, if you're watching this video. I know your team's good as well, but All Blacks are world-renowned, right? Family-friendly, coming from Europe, you'll certainly appreciate a progressive society, similar like many other cultures in Europe. And interesting enough, if you put a needle straight through the globe, starting in the UK, it'll probably pop out of the globe close to New Zealand. So can I say perhaps is New Zealand a more utopian version of the UK? Am I going to get in trouble? Am I going to get lots of hate messages below? Hopefully not. I just think New Zealand's a very beautiful part of the world. Okay, guys, that's it for me. Where would you pick? I missed some other great countries. What about Costa Rica? What about the Philippines? Where would the place you would travel to next? Where would you like to live if you wanted to move? That's it, guys. Take care.